Well, looking at the titles, we have a big show today, don't we? Anyway, my book is on Amazon. Don't forget to order it. You can call Amazon, order the book. It's called Hollywood Gomorrah, Sex Lives of the Hollywood Stars. You're going to get it from Tony Curtis to Monty Cliff, Troy Donahue, Marlon Brando, and Barbara Payton's in here. Barbara Payton was a gorgeous girl who was married to French Antone, and she became a slut, a real slut at the end of her life. Poor baby. That's why it's called Gomorrah. And today we have Alex Monty and Maxwell Demil, producers, directors of this wonderful, film directors of this wonderful movie called The Return to Babylon. Tell me about this Return to Babylon.
Return to Babylon was an idea I had for a long time. I just didn't know what I was going to call it. But I was really, really fascinated with the concept of silent film, because silent films really is cinema in its purest form. And because I was like really into fashion and style, so I really loved and had passion for that decade.
Right.
And it started, I found a bag of film on Hollywood and Normandy Boulevard. It was like factory sealed, 19 rolls.
Hollywood and Normandy.
Yeah. And so we found the bag on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And this is before cell phone time, or I didn't like cell phones to begin with. So I remember the first person I called was my friend Devora. I'm like, Devora, I just found a bag of black and white factory sealed silent film. Factory sealed black and white film. She said, well, darling, you were in my parlor room the other day and you wanted to make a silent film for years, so that's the answer. When do we film? We shot that film, The Birth of Babylon, that Saturday. The phone call was, so that became The Birth of Babylon, which was the original story of the infamous 1921 William Desmond Taylor murder. And it's shot in silent movie format, you know, title cards. And the film was so well received, it got an award.
Right.
At the ARPA Foundation of the Arts, some film festival. Skip, we shot it in one day. It was an $800 film. There was a $58,000 party thrown for the film. Like the Moulin Rouge women were flown in from out of Paris for the first time since their 1899 history of the Moulin Rouge. They were the entertainment of the party.
I can't believe it.
I hear it used to be at the St. James's Club.
Right.
The Art Deco building on Sunset. Now, and then it became the Argyle. It was the Argyle. A $58,000 party for an $800 film. And there I met Maria Conchita Alonso. And the film was sponsored by Harry Winston. And so, of course, she was wearing a $250,000 diamond necklace. And she hated being followed by security.
Right.
Okay? Because she would have kept the necklace. So she says, well, when are we going to film the next silent movie segment?
Right.
And that's how Return to Babylon started. So I thought, okay, she'll play the Lupe Velez. And you've seen the film. It's Return to Babylon.
Great
what,
film.
7 or 8 segments, Maxwell?
I don't know the exact count, but there's a lot of interesting segments in the picture.
Maxwell Demil, you are a director, but you also helped him with this.
Yes, I did. Well, actually,
you worked with Orson Welles.
I have worked with Orson Welles, but I played Douglas Fairbanks in the picture. That's how we met.
Exactly.
Originally.
He was on the first day of filming with Maria Conchita Alonso.
Right.
Now, I had known that he had worked with Orson Welles, okay? But I thought he was part of his theater group.
Right.
You know, because I met him when you were doing a play.
Right.
Okay, so that's how I got exposed to you.
But you did the film, and it was like years later, you finally finished it, and you showed it to me, but you didn't realize that I had worked with Orson Welles.
I had
and that I was
no
an editor
clue.
and a
So it started with the Lupe Velez segment, and actually, I don't know if you know this, it was only a short at the time, Maxwell. I was going to call it the Mexican Spitfire. And then I thought, what? Because Lupe Velez was the Mexican Spitfire.
Right.
And then I thought, wait a minute, I already had 2 shorts, let's do more segments. So along came a flood of people. Jennifer Tilly plays Clara Bow.
Right.
Philip Bloch, the fashion stylist, plays Ramon Navarro. Who else is in this movie? Ione Skye. She's the Doom starlet. Virginia Rapé.
Debbie Mazar.
Huh?
Debbie Mazar.
Debbie Mazar is playing Gloria Swanson.
Yes.
Literally, Skip, all these people worked for free.
Free.
I met with Cameron Diaz in her boyfriend's house at
Right.
the time, and she wanted to be in the film. Brooke Shields wanted to be in the film. Jennifer Beals called me. She wants to be in the film. I end up getting Rolanda Watts. She does a fantastic job. She's coming tomorrow to the screening at we're having at
You're
USC.
having the screening now.
But what I was saying was the response to the film was so overwhelming, and literally, I was meeting with. Really, this is really funny. I met with Paris Hilton because she wanted to play Jean Harlow. Right. I couldn't film all of them, Skippy. I was so first of all, we had too much footage as it was. You know, I mean, it was impossible. I was totally flattered. Totally flattered. Because you know what? They were doing something that was so different. And let me tell you, this was shot well before the success of The Artist.
Right.
You know, which got Best Picture. I think it was 10 nominations and 5. And, I mean, everyone told me, I mean, we don't know this for sure. I mean, everyone told me, everyone stole your idea. Because I had
They
already...
stole your idea.
Totally.
I remember it, yeah.
Totally.
Am I right?
You know?
Well, I don't know if they stole it. I mean, The Artist is an original story.
That's true.
Shot
That's
as a
true.
silent
That's
movie.
exactly.
What we're doing in Return to Babylon is we're taking true life stories
Right.
and presenting them in the style of a silent film,
Right.
which is pretty much unlike anything I've seen. Mostly you see documentaries on the Biography Channel with a narrator, and they recreate things. But what we're doing is we're doing these stories actually as if you were seeing them shot as a silent film with intertitles and fantastic music by Dean Mora and his orchestra. He provided all the music for the background, and it really adds a lot because he's so authentic with his 20s and 30s music. And when I came into the project, the version I saw was completely different than the version that we have now.
You know why? Because that was the pot smoker who's in rehab.
Rehab.
And you don't know what his name is. And you don't care what his name is.
Right.
And then that's why he worked for Orson Welles, and I can see why. Not only, Maxwell, did you do a brilliant job, but I was amazed at how quickly you did the job. I mean, in 4 days, he re-edited this movie, and he told me he was going to make it 200 times better. He made it 700 times better.
720 times.
720 times better. So
Monty.
really, I mean, I'm really grateful that he came on.
Well,
I mean,
it was a good material to work with. Mostly
Thank
what
you.
I did is rearrange a little bit of it and also rewrote the title cards because I
Right.
wanted people to know more backstory about the characters and provide some more information. So I did that, and I think it turned out nicely.
I am exceptionally pleased.
So you're having the screening tomorrow.
I have the screening tomorrow.
It's at USC.
It's at USC,
and if
which
folks want to find out about it,
Exactly.
they go to returntobabylon.com,
Babylon.
and it's got all the information.
Oh, okay.
Returntobabylon.com.
Return, yes.
The screening's almost filled up, but if you get there early, you can get in.
Okay, that's great.
I'm really proud of it because I graduated from USC.
You did?
Yeah, I went to film school there.
So you grew up here?
I grew up in Los Angeles, yeah.
You always wanted to be a director of film?
You know what? I actually...
No actor?
I had a passion for filmmaking, okay? But I actually entered USC as a civil engineer major because I excelled in mathematics and I really loved engineering and building something. I took a cinema class 2 years into my civil engineering degree,
Right.
and I almost walked out of it, Maxwell. It was Singing in the Rain, and I thought, I'm not going to watch some stupid movie from the 50s. I couldn't get out because I was trapped in the middle of the North Cinema with 299 other people,
Right.
and I thought, well, I'll just get up in the middle and just pretend to use the bathroom, and I'm going to drop the class.
Right.
I was so mesmerized. Watching Singing in the Rain was
Debbie
a changing
Reynolds.
focal point.
Yes.
I literally ran. It was a Wednesday night. The film ended at 10:30. I ran across the campus to the admissions office. Of course, they were closed. And I was banging on the door that I needed to switch my major. Now, you could imagine, Skippy, when I told my parents, and I was 19 years old, that I was now going to switch my major from civil engineering to film.
Film.
I mean, my mom was horrified. She said, Hollywood is the den of iniquity. Save yourself. It's the devil. And you know what? It is, actually.
It's the lobby of it.
It's exactly.
It's bigger than a den.
But she literally fainted. I don't give a damn. But I said I was so passionate because Singing in the Rain, you know what? You're from that era, Skippy. I mean,
Right,
you
right.
knew these people. That concept movie magic is really powerful. and it can make you crazy. Like if you're not in it, if you're not crazy already wanting to get in it, I can assure you, Skip, you'll be crazy by the time you survive it.
Donald O'Connor, Gene Kelly,
and because that movie was set in the 1920s,
yes.
Then later, as I started getting older, because I have clairvoyant capabilities, I remembered I was in that era. You know, that I lived in that era. I just kept getting chills. And what was really amazing, the bag of film in the street was like this Pandora's box. We shot at the estate of Rudy Valentino Falcon Lair. And I play Rudy, and can you believe that?
And I think you do probably the best sequence in the film.
Really?
Well, I'm just saying that to make you feel
Oh, you are too much.
No, actually, that's...
You know
we
what?
saved that sequence for the end because it's really the most powerful, I think, with Rudolph Valentino, starting from when he was in Italy all the way up to the end.
Yes.
The only thing I would say, though, is you don't quite look like an 8-year-old boy in the scene.
I know. In one scene, I did it. We should have had a little boy play the role.
You could have gotten the boy from the William Desmond Taylor scene.
I know. That was a mistake. But you know what?
But unless we tell people that Rudolph Valentino was a lot younger in that scene, how would they possibly know?
I know. That
So
was a mistake.
We're not going to tell anybody that you're actually too old in that scene.
Actually, we should have gotten a little boy. But I was playing it off as a teenager.
Yes.
And that was one mistake.
Uh-huh.
But I had not studied Rudy Valentino enough. But I studied
could go
it.
back and re-edit it and just cut you out of that.
Oh, there you
We
go.
could put a kid in there and we could just re-edit it and cut you out.
You're into silent movies too, aren't you?
I love silent movies, yes.
Yeah, as an actor too.
No, not as an actor, but I present silent movies. I work with the Los Angeles Conservancy. And
tell me about your. You have a club you do.
I do a club. Yes, it's called the Cicada Club in downtown Los Angeles. It's we do it once a week. We turn it into a 1940s nightclub, and coincidentally, the artist was shot there. They shot 3 scenes there.
You see, I know they stole my idea.
And I remember when they were shooting it, I was talking to the director of photography, and I said, "What is this? Is it a student film or something?" And they said, "No, we're shooting a feature film. It's just like for French TV." And I said, "No, it's like a major film." And they said, "We're shooting 35 millimeter. The director definitely wanted to shoot film." And I had no idea what it was at the time. Otherwise, I would have snuck into it. I would have been in it.
You didn't get into it.
I didn't know what it was. It just looked like some little short
And can you
film.
believe they got 10 nominations and 5?
I know. I remember.
And I mean, people really, I haven't seen the artist, so I can't really say. One girl was like, "Your movie is by far better than that piece of shit."
It's
That's
different.
what she
It's
said.
different.
But you know what? Getting back to the Rudy thing, I cast people. I'm my own casting director. Jennifer Tilly literally is herself when she's playing Clara Bow. Maria Conchita Alonso is not as crazy as Lupa Velez, but she almost.
She's pretty good.
And I knew Rudy so well that it was just easy. I just had to basically stand there and look pretty. I knew the character well. In fact, Giovanni, who was on this show, Guglielmi, Rudy Valentino's great nephew, he was so moved that he literally gave me, and I have it in my jewelry collection, Rudy Valentino's gold ruby ring. I mean, I have a picture with Rudy wearing it. And then, of course, I got it appraised, and I had to go to put it in a safety deposit.
Christopher Jones. Remember Christopher Jones, the actor?
Who is that?
Chris Jones. He just died. And when he died, he was cremated. And the man who owns that Forever...
Hollywood Forever.
And Christopher Jones, they cremated, and they put his in a tomb next to Valentino.
But wait a minute.
That's right.
I go visit Rudy a lot. Okay.
He's there, right there.
I mean,
He's in a drawer. They pull him out.
He's in a drawer.
And they put him back.
what drawer?
There is, but Valentino.
But Rudy's crypt
I know,
is
that's
number
what-
1205. And everything around it, you know, he's June Mathis is the writer that got him famous. And
But I don't know where it is, but it's
I
there.
have to go see that.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
Christopher Jones. He's there.
Wow.
I'm supposed to go
Oh,
to that.
you know what? Wait a minute. They just built a new wing.
And
That's
probably-
right.
They're running out of space.
Rudy
Yeah.
wanted some friends.
The owner of the place fell in love with Chris Jones, so he didn't have any money, so he gave it to him. His
Yeah,
family.
they did build a new part there.
They did.
Yeah.
So
Of course, the
that's
sad thing now is there really isn't anybody left from the silent era. I think.
No, you know what? One of them
Curtis
just
Harrington
died. One of them
died,
just
too.
died. She was 103 years
Right.
old. What's her name? She was
Pauline
in the
Wagner.
Phantom of the
Oh, no, that
Opera.
wasn't Pauline.
And that's,
Who was it?
Well, Pauline Wagner was a friend of mine, and she was Fay Wray's stand-in in King Kong.
Oh yes.
And she has visited the Cicada Club before, and she was really a dear lady. And she was with James Cagney when they formed the Screen Actors Guild.
Right.
And they went in together to do that. And James Cagney's Screen Actors Guild number was #1, and she was #2, joining the Screen
Really?
Actors Guild. And she was bright and smart, and just a lot of fun to be around.
You know, you want to be around fun people, Skip.
And smart people.
That's what was
And I think
so.
Mickey Rooney was one of the last silent stars. 'Cause he
You know,
was,
one of them just died. She was in the Phantom of the Opera. She was 103 years old. Just a month.
Mary Philbin.
Huh?
Is it Mary Philbin?
No, Anita something.
Anita. Oh, Anita. Oh, wait a minute.
You
Anita,
know her.
Yes.
Sally Kirkland's friends with her.
Yes.
I wanted
interviewed
her
Anita,
to present the film.
She did the
Page.
Broadway. She did the Broadway thing. What was that? The first movie of singing and dancing. The Broadway.
I know her silent movie credits were 2, and one of them was The Phantom of the Opera. And she just died like 2 months ago, just short of our premiere. She lived to be 103. But
It's a long gone era. Most people aren't even aware of the
you know what?
silent era.
This is what's really sad, okay? Everybody knows Joan Crawford and Betty Davis, okay? But people don't really know the birth of this Hollywood community.
No, they
I mean,
don't.
casting directors don't even know who Theda
Louise
Vera
Brooks
is.
or Louise Brooks.
And those people, they're the ones that are really. Mabel Normand was a producer and writer, Barbara Lamar. Those people, like, the silent film era was really cursed because 80% of the films no longer exist. From 1895 to 1927, that era was cut off. Imagine if music and poetry and costumes and all kinds of other arts that go on for centuries, the silent movies were just about to flourish, and the talkies came in and annihilated the entire concept of silent films. And you know what they do these days? Okay, theatrical plays are different than films. Hitchcock used the film medium really well. Even though we now have dialogue and soundtracks, you still want to tell the story visually. So we could see, like in Vertigo, Psycho, lots of his films, there are like 10 to 15 minute segments, literally, where no one speaks. Because still, to get to the soul of film, I think, is tell the story cinematically.
Yes.
You know?
You brought a clip.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
No, actually, he brought the clip.
Oh, okay.
It's the trailer.
Okay, go ahead. So, it's the trailer
Yes.
of the movie?
Yes, it's got all the best scenes.
Okay, well, I'd love to see it, okay?
Well, I'd love you to show it.
Okay, Yvette? naughty sexually everybody was, right?
Oh, it was a great time period. It was a
No
time.
censorship.
It
No
was.
censorship.
It was a
Anything-
great time
anything
period.
goes.
I mean, it was, you know, it was a time period of being wild, reckless, and self-absorbed. It was very decadent.
It was
And
very-
nowadays, you've got this politically correct movement, which just it doesn't work for me.
doesn't work at
We
all.
need to get hedonistic.
Yeah. See, when my
Speak for
book,
yourself.
I get comments on my book now on Amazon. You know, the reviews, and certain reviews are very, very upsetting. They don't like it. Some are loving it because you're being honest.
Well,
Everybody loves Return to Babylon. We haven't gotten one bad review.
We have not.
Isn't that
I
great?
really am really impressed. I
Really?
mean, I'm just bewildered.
Because
I
the
couldn't
good
have done
thing
it
was I
without
would
you,
just
huh?
tear it up. I would just tear it up anyway, and I wouldn't read it. So.
Oh my God.
So you're very excited for tomorrow night.
I really am, because it's been a long journey.
Uh-huh.
It's been one hell of a ride. I am surprised I am still standing.
Well,
And
you're
you
sitting,
know,
you're
huh?
sitting. You're sitting.
I'm sitting, but I want to take this moment because I couldn't have been here today. Literally, I almost canceled this.
Right.
I mean, Rob drove me here. I almost had to take a bus to get here.
Right.
And literally,
It's been tough
if
for
it-
you, hasn't it?
It has been really hard, but you know what Professor Drew Casper said at USC?
What?
The more you suffer, the better the art is going to be.
I see. That's what they say.
You know?
I've never really experienced that.
Oh,
Everything's
well,
been
that's
so
be-
easy. I don't understand.
Oh, come on, Maxwell. I bet you've never had an empty moment in all your life, living in Beverly Hills with all them Beverly Hills people. But you know what? My goal is to buy Falcon Lair because I got Rudy Valentino's ring, and I'm going to use the same energy to get the house.
Well, isn't the place you shot got torn down?
It got torn down, and now I'm going to rebuild it with the modern fixings, like you said. It's only like $4 million.
What's going to happen with Monty and
Maxwell?
Maxwell togetherness? Are you going to do another film together?
You know what? We
Really?
are a recipe for disaster.
Yes, I vowed never to work with this man again.
Oh my God, the
Has it been
drinking
hard?
every
No.
day,
No.
drinking in the editing room.
It's been wonderful. He's so easy to work with. It's not a problem at all. When I show him things, he loves it, and it's really easy.
How was it working with Orson Welles? Was it tough?
Compared to Alex?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
my
yeah,
God.
Not compared. Yeah.
Oh,
whatever.
well, there's no comparison, but I'm not going to say in what direction.
Oh my
How many
God.
films have you done with him?
I did one show with him. It was a TV show called The Orson Welles Show with Burt Reynolds, Angie Dickinson, and the
Oh
Muppets.
yes. Uh-huh.
And it was a pilot for a talk show with Orson Welles as the host of
As
the
the
talk
host
show.
of Food. Was
No.
it for food?
No, it wasn't food. It was like a TV show, like a talk show, like
Oh,
The Tonight Show,
Oh, okay.
where Orson was more of the host and the guests would speak. And
I
he did
see.
some magic in it, but it turned into something very strange altogether.
It did.
Yes, but
Why
it
is
was,
that?
well, because it was like a movie of a talk show more
Oh,
than
oh,
an actual
I
talk
see.
show.
I see.
But it was quite an experience, and I've used a lot of the skills I developed working with Orson in Return to Babylon as far as editing goes and piecing sequences together. So it was quite an experience.
You know,
Monty,
I
what-
really have to
Good.
say I'm exceptionally proud that I'm a USC Trojan. Like when I say I went to USC Film School,
Right.
I'm really proud. But to have him, people were just amazed. I mean, like forget Jennifer Tilly, you know, all the other stars. I'm so honored to have worked with Maxwell. It's like really, and also to know you. I mean, I'm really, really happy to be here doing this moment. I'd have to say it's probably one of the happiest days of my life.
Tell me something. You're going to be working with.
Oh, I can't mention his name.
You can't.
I
Okay,
can't
won't
because I
mention
haven't. I don't want to jinx it.
it. Oh,
But
okay.
we,
you know.
let's just say that we have a major.
We have a major A-list person
That wants to
who
be in the
owes me
film.
a big
Wants to be in
favor.
the
He
film.
wants to be in the film, so we're going to concoct a
that's
sequence
great.
to put this major Hollywood talent in. So the final version will probably have this additional sequence, and we haven't quite confirmed.
Well, what are you going to do
the-
with this film? Tell me.
What am I going to do with it?
Yeah, what are you going to do with
What
you
do
got
you
so-
mean?
You got so much
You know what?
material. But in this
What
movie.
you learned from the experience, you use what you learn, and you put them into
I
your
think
life.
The ultimate goal is Netflix. That's
Right.
it. You know, it's just going to be on Netflix.
Why not? If the artist could be on Netflix,
Well,
we can too.
the world's different now. Theatrical presentations are not the
I
thing
know.
anymore. It's more watching it on the internet, and I think that's where it's probably going to end up.
on
after
the
making-
internet, yes.
But it's going to make the round of film festivals and that sort of thing. But it's quite an amazing, different film, I think.
Have you been excited about making film appearances and taking the movie around?
You know what? I think when you get to this point in the journey, you really have to ask yourself, you know,
I did a movie for you once. I
Yeah,
wanna ask you,
Citizens.
what was it called?
Citizens. That's a different style of film, color, and it was about the angst of making it in Hollywood. Like my themes of my films are Hollywood celebrity stardom.
Right.
They have that running through my films, and
Did you ever
that's gonna
find out about this movie that you found, the silent movie?
No, well,
where it came from?
that's
Did you ever
the
purchase
back.
that?
No, because it was like finding 500 in cash.
Someone's going to come
Somebody-
forward
it
and
was
say
pro-
that's my film, and they're going to want
No, because the
They're gonna
film
wanna
was
own the
factory.
film.
The film was factory sealed. You know.
But someone's
So
gonna say
I
that's
mean,
my
obviously there are
No one has ever come
there
up
are
with it.
supernatural forces working behind. I believe Rudy
We haven't even
Valentino had
talked
the film
about
there.
the supernatural images
Exactly.
in the film. That's another.
That's a whole different show, the supernatural images. We were on A&E Biography, my ghost story, because embedded in the film
Right.
were images of Jesus Christ and a number of,
And
demons,
demons,
paranormal.
If you freeze frame some of the film, you can see these strange images appearing. So
Yeah,
it's
Oh, really?
yeah. People say demons.
I think it's just a technical glitch, but that's me.
But it still is very fascinating. I mean, the film really works on many levels, Skip, and tomorrow we'll see what the reaction is.
And you can find out more about the film at returntobabylon.com. It's got all the information and the trailers on there and information about the screening tomorrow at USC.
Okay, then just go to the internet and do it.
That's where they
That's
find out.
good. Demil, thank you for coming.
My
today.
pleasure. It's been
Really-
a pleasure being here.
And love your room too, downtown. That room
The
is
Cicada
called
Club.
The Cicada
It's
Club.
at
That's a
cicadaclub.com.
real-
Yes.
Very popular.
Thank you.
And Alex, thank you so
Well, it's
much.
always a pleasure,
As
Skippy.
usual.
As usual.
And you look good too. Thank
I
God.
always look good. What the hell?
Well,
I'm just kidding.
photography.
Thank
It's
you.
trick photography.
He looks a lot better than I do. And I hope nobody's
I wish
pissed
you-
off at me because I'm wearing the Belgium shirt because we kicked Belgium
It's
kicked
okay.
the U.S.
I
in
wish
soccer.
I wish you luck tomorrow.
Well,
okay?
thank you so much, Skippy.
God bless
I
you.
really think it's going to be a great night. And I have to dedicate this show to two women I know,
Go ahead.
Cindy Tibbetts-Smith and Chris Doty. One is a virgin, the other one's a whore.
Oh, okay.
Which is which?
I don't know. There's a couple of them in here too. Don't forget my book, Hollywood Gomorrah. You order it on Amazon.com, ladies and gentlemen, and it's selling like crazy. And wonderful stories of Troy Donahue, Jimmy Dean, Marlon Brando, and Robert Payton. Don't forget, order it, Amazon.com.